And then one dark Valkyrie pin, so very shiny, very lovely, awesome stuff. And then we have a ton of Kit Kats that are really yummy. They're peach raffle song too, because why not? We have Kit Kats, because everyone gets something.
Because face it, y'all are fucking weebs. And
yeah,
you're all here and you love Japan.
And we have peach Kit Kats, so why not? So we have some nice stuff to give away.
Then we're going to talk a little bit why female/non-male events are so important to the community for fostering growth. Then we have some gender discussion. I like to talk about current events and tournaments and things that are going on too, just to so you're in the know. And then I'd like to hear from you guys what's going on because we don't know everything. But then after that, other topics, we can open up the floor. Although the floor is always open, so you should just interject whenever.
Yeah.
We're not experts at all on any of this. This is just our thoughts and stuff like that. And then I would be in this if we didn't have a group photo. So I have to take a group photo.
Hopefully we can do a self-timer or something.
Grab two more off them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we can just pass them around as people walk in. And if someone's messaging you hey, I was late for the panel, I want to go too, just be just come on in, it's fine. Just no one, it's not a problem.
People are casual.
I know, that's true. Service
yeah.
We have stickers too. Yeah, oh, we have stickers too.
I have all 5 bars.
Could you please raise your hand if you came in and did not get a swag and a raffle ticket? Really high. I'm a teacher, I'm gonna yell you all day. For 4. Anyone in the back did not get stuff?
I'm not here.
So 5 people? Okay.
If you wouldn't mind. Thank you so much. Okay. Intros, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
We only have
This is our prompt, but feel free to do whatever. So, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm Devin. I also go by Shadow Obsessed, and I'm from California, Northern California. I moved out to Philadelphia 3 years ago, and now I'm here. Yeah, I've been playing since 2004 or 5, I want to say. Yep, that's it.
Do you want to tell us about how you got started playing dance games, tournaments you're entering?
Okay, so I first played DDR on my 7th birthday in 1999 because we had a test location at my local arcade, and I was like, oh, this looks fun, and then I tried it, and I was like, this is really embarrassing, I'm never doing this again. I just felt like a total fool, but 5 years later, I was like, okay, I'm going to give it another chance. Had a lot of fun, started meeting players nearby, and we kept going with it, obviously. I was the kid who was always scrounging for tokens under the machines, one more round. I'm only entering ITG this year. It's my first RAJ, so we'll just see how that goes. That's it.
I'm Amber, or Space Cake. I actually am not a rhythm game player. I play fighting games. I know. Curse me, it's fine. My fiance is actually the rhythm game player. I actually got started in gaming because of my fiance. He used to compete in DDR and 2DX, but now he also competes in fighting games. So we've been doing that for about 5 years now. We're not entering any RAJ tournaments because I'm actually TOing in the fighting game community. But I mean, other events I've entered recently, I honestly can't name them as we go for about 15 years. So that's hard.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'll keep it short. I could be up here all night. Hi, my name's Kristin. My handle is @X or B. I say I play rhythm games, but man, I just fucking love it in the group. I can't play in the group. How I got started, like many of us, I started playing DDR back when I was in 8th grade, which is different from some other people's 8th grade because I'm happen. Back in like 2002, I started getting competitive around, actually like 2 years ago, 2017, and then I started taking In the Groove seriously at other rhythm games like in 2011, 9, but now I'm like way too hardcore. RAJ tournaments I'm entering just In the Groove, and other events I've entered. Sarah and I went to France for Girlpocalypse. It was like really cool. Yeah, it was very cool. That was probably the highlight of my year. Yeah. Thank you.
You helped run a recent tournament too, an ITG like remote tournament, which.
So you probably have this cute little sticker, again designed by the wonderful the Galaga ship. This is for Queens of the Quad. It was a remote FA tech tournament that I ran for a 6-week series. It was really fun. I'll be doing another one again soon once I think of some more charts to do. So be on the lookout.
Awesome, cool events. So I'm Sarah. I go by Eggy or DDR in DDR, and you might have heard of the name Pez and ITG In the Groove. Also go by that name. I play a hella ton of rhythm games. I've been playing a lot of DDR Ace lately, but I got started mainly playing In the Groove, at least competitively. I went to UIUC where there was a club called DDR Illini, and a bunch of community members who were women were super encouraging and welcoming to me when I felt intimidated to join in and play on the ITG machine in the student union. I was like only going on DDR because I felt super intimidated, but then this warm, loving community just enveloped me. Yeah, and I like back in 2010, I got like all of this like awesome motivation to just like compete, get involved in the community, and do a bunch of awesome stuff. RAJ tournaments I'm entering, Ace, Extreme Pro, and Pump, and Kaya was convincing me to enter ITG, but I don't know if I really want to do that. I think it's too much. No, stop it. Like Kristin mentioned, was at Girlpocalypse recently. I'm running the next Girlpocalypse, so be on the lookout for that. It's in Seattle at the Nest Arcade. It's going to be awesome. And even if you're new to In the Groove, it's so fun, and the women and non-binary community is very welcome and opening, and very open to everyone, new players who are at any sort of skill level. So feel free to check it out. Super active community on Twitter and Facebook. So yeah, that's a thing too. So super fun.
Could I just pause right here? Could you raise your hand if you came in and didn't receive the raffle ticket or the stickers I'm giving out?
Kristin, I still gonna get it.
Can you fly?
Oh shoot, we have a raffle break too, so we better get those out fast.
Well, we can have everyone else kind of like go around it.
Yeah, while we do that. So, while we get those tickets out to you guys, do you guys want to go around and give us a brief intro about yourselves also? Be great. Want to start?
I'm Laney. I go by Laney-Bun as a handle. I play pretty much any music game out there. I started playing DDR back when the 4th mix came out, and then I never got good, so I ran a few hundred tournaments over the next decade and helped found the Ohio DDR community. So I know a lot of people in the community, but started from DDR, and now I run all sorts of other things. Kind of fell out of the community in the past few years, but I still show up to events like this. Not entering anything because I'm terrible. And I pretty much just don't go to any other events right now, but RAJ is RAJ, so.
Oh, and by the way, if you guys want to share your pronoun too, I think we forgot to do that.
Right.
So sorry. I'm they, them.
Me too.
I'm just she.
Yeah, so feel free to share whatever else you'd like to.
She, her.
Awesome.
Am I next?
Yes, if you want to.
I'm Audra. I've been going by Toki for a long time, but I don't actually use that. But it's 4 letters, so it's good to put into machines. My internet username is Ultra Happy Alarm. You can also find my music on SoundCloud under that name. I love video games. I first saw DDR movie arcade, like a movie theater. I didn't get to play. I just like watched, and I was just like, I really want to do that. And then there was an arcade when I was like very young, and you scrounge for tokens. I would just like shadow people. I was a shadower.
I forgot shadowing.
Yeah, of course I have evolved since then. I'm not very good. I don't enter tournaments. I just play because it's fun. I love pop music. I got into pop music like in 2003 or something. Carnival just came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. And I also like fighting games. Big on Tekken. I also like the 2D fighters, like Guilty Gear and that kind of stuff. And I do a lot of stuff, so I'll just keep it. That's it. That's where we are.
Very awesome.
And they, them, or any pronouns, but they, them is the best one. Yeah. Thank you.
I go by Tara. My handle on Twitter, I guess, is Kristin. I played both like fighters and like rhythm games in some capacity. I think for the last I want to say like 19 or so years, because I think like the very first thing we were exposed to was like DDR.
This is where all the people are.
Oh yeah. So DDR had specifically like Kings Island down south had a DDR dancing stage of all things, like back in I think like 99 or 2000. And so that was the very first thing I played, and naturally like a group of our friends enjoyed it. We played that quite a bit. Enjoyed pretty much every other DDR release that came out. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Went to a couple more DDR related events over the years, and found that there were other like music games and stuff. Oh yeah, it's like this one with the colored buttons is nice. This one with the like scratchy thing is nice. And so I ended up playing a lot more of the game with the scratchy thing, like since 2003, and then for a while, and then kind of on and off, and then kind of on again since about 2015 or 16 or so.
It's different than most people. I started with rhythm games, bust a move games on PS1. I hadn't really thought about games and music being related, and I rented that import, which is like, oh my god, this is absolutely incredible. And just went through like GameWorks we used to have a lot of DVR and stuff like that. I've been into fighting games my whole life, so I love that. Actually entering anything, I just think I might be as far as events, really, I just kind of randomly go to things. I haven't been to many conventions. Most of the ones that I've been to are primarily anime conventions like Con-Cons.
Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoy everything that's here.
Oh my god. It's really overwhelming to look out there.
Yes, oh my goodness. Good to take breaks too.
Got shorty with easy mouse stuck in my head now.
Yes.
So we're just gonna do the raffle really fast, and then do more intros at the end, just so that we have enough time to get through the content, and because we do want to like make sure everyone mingles. But
We can always just mingle into the food court.
exactly, like we can keep going, but just so that we have time to like answer like questions about the talk and all that stuff, you know, we'll just go ahead and continue with the slides. So. Sorry, guys. Oh, do we want to do the raffle now? Okay, yes. Okay, we're gonna do raffle. All right, get those tickets out. Get your tickets out, guys. Oh my God, we're gonna raffle some good stuff. Oh, one more.
You made it just in time for the raffle.
Met just in time. Us rhythm gamers and our timing. Yeah, right. Marvelous timing. Marvelous, or fantastic? Quite fantastic. All right, you put it in. All right, I'm drawing for a box of Kit Kats. Woo! Okay, 891. Oh my God! Okay.
Cheering paid off.
There you go. Okay, we're just trying to go fast.
The squeaky wheel against the Kit Kats.
Last three. 892.
Hi!
Hey, get the peach Kit Kats! Hey!
886.
Hey! Oh, you got another Kit Kat. Oh my God.
Not a broken.
Oh, not a broken one.
868. 868.
It had to be someone in here.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Do you want a broken or a less broken Kit Kat?
I'll take the less one.
You're so. Oh my gosh, you're. Alright. Alright, now. Alright. Okay, we are going to do. Which one should we do? The black. The black 4-panel chain. Ooh ah, ooh ah.
DDR.
Alright. Alright, who is it gonna be? 890.
That's the
And now we are going to do a dark Palladian pin. Very shiny.
887. That's me.
Woo!
There you go. I think everyone's been able to
Yeah, there's a lot of tried to like
Oh, yeah.
lots of Kit Kats.
Almost everything.
We can add some Halloween makeup on there.
Yeah, perfect. So we can now get to some more of the content we wanted to talk about. So, why women and non-male events?
So a lot of people, some people ask, why divide? Like, why make an extra group for just women or just non-binary people? It's not about division, it's about unification as a whole. If you go to an arcade, you'll see that more often than not, it's going to be male players. If you go to a tournament, it's going to be male players. There might be a couple girls here and there, but they don't make it that far. Like, it's a lot of men who play these games. Why is there such a gender divide? Society sends us very subtle and sometimes not subtle messages that say games are for boys. Me personally, I remember in 4th grade, I was looking forward to a new Pokemon release, and someone told me, Game Boys are for boys, Devin. I was like, well, I can't really argue that. It's in the name of the system itself, Got me there. But when there's like a lack of diversity and representation within a certain area or hobby or game, it's really hard to see yourself in that place. Like if you don't see someone who looks like you, or like is a similar status to you,
Or someone you can relate to in some kind of way.
right, some capacity. So it makes it hard to feel like you belong or even have a right to be there if there's no one like you. And for example, I've met many women who like the concept of games and they think like, oh, that sounds really cool, sounds really fun. I'm like, why don't you give it a try? And they're like, well, it's not for me. I'm not good at this. It's not made for me.
I don't feel comfortable.
Right. What will people say if they see me like playing this? And it's just really sad. Pair that with the competitive element of like fighting games, dancing games, and the physical element, for dancing games. And it's so hard to even try. Like the barrier for entry is so high with all those things. How do you expect anyone to even start? So, did you guys have anything you wanted to say before I finish this up?
Yeah, so I guess part of why we're doing this is because, when you go into a group by default and you don't see anyone that's like yourself, being like non-binary, female, however you identify, it doesn't feel natural to just necessarily insert yourself, or there are, like Devin said, some very conscious deterrents from trying to put yourself in that space, and it can be scary, it can be hard to do. So by, intentionally making spaces for women and non-binary people, this allows us to have a place where we feel comfortable, that we can belong and be ourselves and be authentic to who we are, not feel like we have to be a certain way, act a certain way in order to be accepted, feel okay being ourselves in a type of space. And I think that a lot of the things we've been doing as far as Valkyrie Dimension, Girl Pox, yes! Woo! The in-person tournaments for women and non-binary people have had unprecedented participation, and this just goes to show how important that is and how it solves a lot of the problems that you brought up. So,
Right, and with events and tournaments, that's a major motivation for a lot of people to keep playing, you know. And so with these events like the Valkyrie Dimension or at Champions of the Coast, Kristin did Girls ITG, and that actually, you know, I've been playing for a long time, but I was too scared to enter anything. Because a couple of times I did try, I got steamrolled immediately, and I was like, oh, this is not for me. But like, she put on an event for girls for ITG, and I actually got 3rd place, and I was like, wow, this is the best I've ever done. I can actually do something. And it was like such a huge confidence booster. It was just so much fun.
and it makes people on the outside see who were like completely like, you know, this can't be something I can do ever. That lets people see from the outside, oh, they're enjoying this. I'm like them. I can do that too. I can have fun with this. Like, I can be competitive and still have fun with my friends and feel good about myself.
I have to say, watching Devin put so much effort into the preparation for that tournament was like so amazing. And then the energy that we all had there, just encouraging each other and, you know, pushing each other on. And I have to say, with only 7 entrants, I was constantly like, all right, you're up, you're up, you're up. We got those $13 worth of play. It was so fun, and just, you know, we had a crowd. Like, there were so many people watching just to see how we did. And ever since then, like, you've been a different person. Like, you were just like so adventurous, and, you know, you really came out of Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you for hosting it, because
Oh, it
otherwise
was
I
my
never would have
pleasure.
tried.
Oh, you know me. I was already planning the next year one in my head while that one was going on, so it'll happen next year.
This reminds me of when we were like, when we were in Japan that one year. Like, when was that? That was like 2014. You're like, I want to enter these tournaments. Like, you're so cool. You know, lead our like stamina, whatever. And I'm like, dude, you can do this too. And so we were at this place called World Game Circus. Like, just
That must be 2016.
Yeah.
It was 2000. I think it was 2016.
Yeah, but like I remember you were like very intimidated, like unsure of yourself, and I feel like there's some parallel here because like, you know, that then there was a space for you to push yourself, and then you started to be less scared, and you kind of opened up in a new way. So look at you now, you're sitting up here. Look at all of us. It's great.
And that's
So like this is a real thing. This makes a real impact on people's lives. Like look.
The last point here, I think, to tie this all together is the constant like support and being encouraging.
Yep.
Like, we love competing, but getting together to compete and having that camaraderie and just being together, like Girl Apocalypse is so, like, for me, is like the apex of why I play, because it's so high stakes, but the feeling of everyone behind you cheering you on is like, and just being there for you.
It keeps it all in the field. It doesn't come out in the crowd.
Yeah, it's like second to none.
Yeah. And it's not just this competition where it's like, oh, I'm gonna one up you. It's like we all want each other to improve,
do your
and
best.
it's inclusive, and we love each other for it. It's like we're all motivating each other to be the best we can be, and it's inclusive to non-binary, like presenting or like identifying people, or like you know, female identifying people. Like everyone just cares about like you doing your best and being authentic to yourself and having a good time and being included in the group. And that's what's like really important about all this and why we're talking about it today. So yeah.
Actually, I'd like for Amber to share kind of what she does in the fighting game community regarding lessening kind of like the toxic competition.
My fiance is the owner of the team. I am the manager. Up until January of this year, we had 2 other women in our team, and one of them left for other reasons, completely fine. And one woman we had to ask to leave because she was incredibly toxic, and she approached me as competition. And first of all, unacceptable because you're basically my employee. Second of all, why? Like, there's no reason for it. We're doing the same thing. We're going to the same tournaments. We're entering under the same name. There's no need for it. Like, we have the same goals, the same passions. So why have that toxicity? It's not needed. And I'm actually part of Combo Queens, which kind of does this as well. And we all get together at fighting game tournaments, and we have things like this. We do raffles, we just hang out, do photos, and play games. And it does the same thing. We just promote being together, whether you identify as a woman, non-binary, whatever. It's incredibly inclusive and amazing. That's why I'm happy to be here.
It's so good joining us.
If I can touch on something that you brought up, like the toxic element, I've noticed that in a lot of areas where there aren't that many female players, it's easy to see each other as competition. Like, I was like the token girl gamer in my group, and so anytime there's another one, I was like, oh, who are you? You know, you feel this need to like one-up each other, and it's really not cool. It's hard enough as it is to be in that position, and groups like this help us build camaraderie and support for each other instead of just fighting for no reason. It's so dumb. Yeah.
I think, like, there are a lot of people out there who say, guys are just better at dance games, or guys are just better at TV ads, but it's not a right statistic because there's just fewer non-male players.
Yeah.
So we want to get new players in and hopefully get them to stay.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
way it is
because
with
we
fighting.
want to have a good environment, and if we can nurture that environment and show that like we all care about each other and empower each other, then that's how we get people to stay and show others how awesome we are, so that more people will want to come be a part of our group. So that's ultimately what will prove them wrong, I guess. So, because we are powerful and we support each other pretty damn well. So we're a powerful, strong group of really talented people, and we can do anything. So should I go on to the next? So we wanted to touch on gender discussion a bit and how to keep spaces inclusive of people who identify in a variety of ways. So
it can be very tough for someone to make the leap into a new hobby, new community. It can be really intimidating. So it's very important to keep a space as welcoming as possible if you want new players to come in and stay. If potential new players are too scared or intimidated, they're not going to stay there. What's keeping them there? So one thing that you want to do is avoid using blanket statements. Like if you're part of a group or if you run a group, you don't want to use generalizations or use gendered language. So, a lot of people, even if a group is only labeled for women, like non-binary people like me still feel more comfortable in it. And you really want to stay aware of them, and instead of saying like, hey ladies, hey women, hey girls, you could try things like, hi friends, folks, everyone, distinguished guests, y'all, comrades, gentle them, ladies and gentle thems, yeah.
I love that.
I say fam a lot at work.
Fam, me too. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Also, another facet of keeping a space inclusive is with the moderation of the group as well, making sure that there's no like infighting. If one person is making everyone else uncomfortable, you want to nip that in the bud, like address it as soon as possible, as soon as people start making complaints, but in a way that's productive and constructive. So not just like, hey, stop. Not just like putting them on blast and being like, hey everyone, this person's garbage. Like, you want to address it in a way that they can work on it. And so everyone else feels comfortable and you can maintain like smooth sailing. I don't know.
Like, it can be tough to, like, if something is, like, really upsetting that someone else is doing and it seems disrespectful, the last thing that's going to make them change their mind or, like, reflect on their behavior is making them feel incredibly defensive. Which it sucks, because if something they're saying is harmful and it can be harmful to, like, a broad group of people, then first thing you want to do is, in my head, punch them in the frickin' face, but that's not productive, and that's ultimately likely not gonna get anywhere as optimally as you'd like. So
Not the result you're looking for.
Not the result you're looking for, which is really hard. So going about it in a manner that's like, hey, we want to maintain a respectful space. We know that you're doing your best when you have this opinion, but it's not the healthiest way to go about expressing this feeling you have. You know, just like starting the discourse. There are a lot of strategies. It's hard to do. It's very difficult, but there are ways. And it's definitely a skill to build. So
You just want to create an environment where people feel safe to, you know, it's good to have discourse, it's good to have conflicting opinions sometimes. Like, you want fresh ideas. You don't want everything to be the same. But, you know, it's important for fairness and visibility so everyone's heard. But you should also do it in a respectful way, you know, like give space for everyone to talk, but don't do it in a way that like puts down other people as well.
it's never easy though, especially when things get heated. But you know, the better we can all get at it on both sides, like the sooner and better outcomes will we have. So, it's a work in progress, and it's okay for it to not be perfect, because if it was perfect, then you know there would be nothing to work on, and that's why we're working on it.
We want to grow.
Because we want to grow together.
Everyone. Oh, my friends.
So, just a little less serious note. You want to talk about this stuff?
So,
it's
okay.
Sorry.
So I am a planner, and I love stuff like this. So I made a little table about what's going on. So I tried to ask like what's going on in like the fighting game community and stuff like that. But Amber said there wasn't too much on the radar.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Not for just like hopefully one day, but I mean, if there's enough interest, I can put together something.
Yeah, work in progress. But we have some things coming up just in case people weren't aware. There's Snow Prism going on, and there's a female division as well as co-ed, which is really great. And doubles, yeah. I entered female. I qualified for one day.
That's for DDR.
Yeah, that's for DDR, and you can do it at any DDR-A or A20 machine. Yeah. And then Girls Coast Stamina 3 will be coming out soon. It's to be determined. That's a remote tournament, so you can play anywhere. You have phone access or your own home setup. We take any scores. Usually I'm the one who takes the score, so
These are for any female identifying person or non-binary person.
Definitely.
Just to clarify.
We're just getting the word out because sometimes not everyone knows what's going on, and if you want to take advantage of these awesome events, please feel free. Valkyrie Arena, huge series. Actually, Amber, can you just give like?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to like talk spot?
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Amber. Other Amber. Fellow Amber. So Valkyrie Arena is taking place in San Jose in January. It is going to be in the style that was run last year, also by fellowship. This is going to be a team competition, but it's in person. So there will be 2 team captains, TBD on who they are, drafting people into teams. And I think this is also hosted by Freestyle Takeover. So what they did last December, and February has been
The Valkyrie series has been known for being a remote tournament to give everyone the chance to participate. And so far, this is the second in-person tournament. The first one was Valkyrie Ascension, which occurred this past August in San Jose. That was I didn't go, but damn, that was oh my god, if you can make it out there, please, by all means, I really encourage you to go. It is, again, one of those events where it's just so much energy and everyone is just pushing so hard. It's amazing. And then we talked a little bit about Girl Apocalypse, which is happening at The Nest. Yeah, it's happening at The Nest in May 2020. So be on the lookout for more information regarding that.
Yeah.
Sarah, what's the nest?
What's the nest?
People who don't know.
I don't want to get too off topic, but it's a.
This is on topic.
It's a fully automated arcade. Well, it's not it's like 95% automated arcade where people can buy memberships and let themselves in and out at certain hours. So it's like a 24-hour fitness that isn't 24 hours but works pretty much otherwise the same way with dance game machines in Seattle. So it will be the venue of the next Girlpocalypse, and it's going to be for all 3 of the major dancing games. So
I like how it put the nest like it's a city. Yeah, that's true. The nest.
yeah, but
Washington State.
spectators will be welcome to come too, and if you have Facebook or Twitter, there is more information there if you search around. So yeah, and at any point, obviously, if you want to learn more about any of the things we've talked about, come talk to us at any time, or like when we open this up for discussion too. Like we are all open books. Would love to chat and yeah, all that stuff. So, but yeah. Does anyone know of any other women's or non-binary rhythm gaming events or fighting game events coming up? Or
Steven mentioned having
In Dallas.
okay, so if we send these slides, when we post the slides, we'll like add those things. Probably post them on Twitter and Facebook.
Let me make it.
Thank you, Sensei. Okay.
I got you.
But yeah, so lots of cool stuff coming up for everyone to get involved with, so that's super exciting. But we'll go on to the next one. So we want to open it up a bit. If any of you guys had topics that you wanted to discuss more additionally, because we only have an hour, these were some other things that we were thinking of talking about, but we wanted to leave it open-ended also. If anyone has like an idea or something they really wanted to talk about during the panel, if you want me to scoot, like we can all just scoot over like 2 feet, and then that's like perfect. Yeah, then everyone can read this stuff. Is that better? The last line says hostility. The first word is hostility. So yeah. So for instance, we are thinking of talking about how to increase male allies because in order to get people who do not really agree with some of these viewpoints, or things that we are doing to kind of catalyze growth in the women's and non-binary environments for rhythm gaming and fighting games. Sometimes you need some help from other people who others can relate to more to make a convincing argument, or for those people who have differing opinions to be able to feel more comfortable and listen to the opinions of someone else they feel like they can relate to. So that goes along with how do we increase male allies? How do we get everyone like educated in these areas so that they feel like other people, like male identifying people, can then help educate others too? Because if we're the only ones who are really really understand the purpose and goal of our cause and why it's so important, then we're missing out on a lot. There are a lot of people who want to help, who just care about people in general, care about us, like loved ones, friends, family, and we can help them help us. So this is an opportunity in itself. So and then helping non-binary people feel safe in these environments. Like we all have pretty scary and I'm sure a lot of us have really scary stories that we could have, things we've been through that are fairly traumatizing, that make it hard to even open up or go into a space, even one where people say, oh, this is a women's space, this is a non-binary space, but like how can we truly feel safe being expressing ourselves like as fully as we deserve to express ourselves? This is a very hard topic, and the world is changing, and we're doing a lot to improve in a lot of spaces, but we have a lot of work to do. So this is an important thing, difficult but important thing to keep at the top of our minds too. Other than that, increasing interest and decreasing hostility and stigma towards non-male events. This is an important thing too. Not just for us to be able to communicate, but allies to be able to communicate, friends and families to be able to communicate. So, those are just some of the topics. But since we do have about 11 minutes left, we do want to open it up for questions. and discussion, and we might go over to the cafeteria to hang out and introduce ourselves more, because clearly an hour wasn't enough time.
I just also want to say we do want to make time for our final raffle and
photo
too.
Yeah.
So basically we have like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah,
to
so-
this, and basically solve all the problems that we
all the problems.
And go.
Yeah, but
Real world leader stuff.
Okay, I just want to say something like, I remember when I first got into the community, I didn't want to play games because I was not good. I just started playing rhythm games about 3 years ago, and I'm going to be that token basic white girl who's stepping up and playing freeze on UB, failing the game twos. You don't want to fit, it's that internalized societal sexism against yourself. And then I had a friend who was pretty good at DDR, and she was like, oh, just step up, even if you're playing on twos, like you can pick the songs that sound good, and she was so good. I'm like, oh my god, she's so good. And then people were better than her, and then people were better than them, and I'm just like, wow, gender makes no difference here. Holy shit, like obviously it doesn't. But that internalized sexism was just like, I'm going to be that token girl, and I don't want to be that. Like, how many of y'all have had people try to teach you how to play a game? I had that happen when I was literally TOing the tournament. Wow. Same. More women out there, no matter how you play, even if you are stepping up playing with the winner twos, you are setting an example for other women who are too warped by that societal sexism and too nervous to do it themselves. So please do it. I would have really appreciated it when I was getting into it. So thank you to everyone who has, I guess.
Thanks for sharing your story.
things like that, when you are a TO and you are knowledgeable about something, to tell people, I already know this, thank you, or you know,
I just played the hardest chart coming to
Yep.
I will say
That's a good way to do it.
my fiance is a great example of a male ally. He is one of the first people in the FGC that if he sees bullshit against like women and non-binary, he's the first to be like, yo, that's fucked up. And you're wrong and you need to sit the fuck down. And like if there's a new woman coming in or a new person coming into the scene and they're feeling uncomfortable, he's the first one to be like, yo, you can come back to our suite. Like we've always got tons of women in our room. It's completely safe. Like there's no pressure. You can suck. It's cool. We all suck. Like he's the perfect example in my eyes of a male ally, what they should be.
that's so perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have like someone like that.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And I mean, even if there isn't, like, there are people out there
Oh yeah.
as many like shitty experiences as we may have had. Like there are people who believe in,
That
you know,
want to help.
clearly we have this space where we're all here together and we want to support each other and like overcome fears and like, you know, make the space more inviting. So like, you know, we're doing the right things, you know, but
If Anthony has a lot of stuff.
yeah,
I was just exactly about to say that because
exactly.
He's a mean ally.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes you need one of those.
You know.
I want to say your TO story reminded me, I used to be a manager for Round 1, and I opened a store and I was the arcade manager. And I had a new employee who walked in and tried to tell me which games we had. And I was like, hi, I opened this store. Thank you. Thank you. I'm like, oh, what's up? How's it going?
I had a guy do that as I'm holding my pink Hello Kitty stick, and I'm like, "Oh, was that your boyfriend's stick?" Yeah.
like look at this.
As I'm sitting down to play my match, totally my boyfriend's stick. Yo, man, get out of here.
I should go 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my perfect.
Are these ones to put in or?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Anyone else have anything? Don't be shy. I mean, I hope this is like helps people feel more comfortable and like invited, safe.
I just want to be conscious of time and not run over.
Yeah, exactly, because we are running out. We have like time for these last two. So, Jazz. Hi, Jazz. Hi.
Can you go back to those slides?
Yeah, absolutely.
When I see how to increase male allies, all I can think of is like, how can we decrease male complacency?
Because what I see a lot of is that there are as many males who are just openly female anti-male as so many males who like don't care if you are.
Yes.
And
who
the apathy. Don't aren't going out of their way to like shit on girls or shit on like non-males, but aren't really they're just helping. Yeah, they're just kind of like I just want to play the game, bro. Like
They're in their privileged position.
yeah. Yes, absolutely. So I guess I was really asking another question is
that's good because
male complacency to be more male allies instead of how to increase
I think that's just.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, I mean I've seen the same thing. I'm not sure if you raised your hand because you wanted to like answer or like.
I think it just has to be brought to their attention.
Exactly.
The talk has to be brought up.
Yeah.
And I think we know
it. We see it.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a lot of complacency. They don't see it. They don't care to see it. They don't want to see it.
Yeah.
So it has to be brought to their attention.
They
It
haven't
has to be
experienced
brought
it,
to the
right?
forefront. Like
Exactly.
at Storm, not Storm. It was one of the tournaments last year.
Wasn't it
There
the
was a
big deal?
female tournament, and someone was like, "Well, what's the need for a female tournament?" And it was because that question came up. It brought all of us to like, well, this is why we want it. This is why we should have it.
Exactly.
But because that question was brought up, we all came forward.
Exactly.
So,
Do you want to add?
Yeah, one thing that always shocks me is actually when I hear people in the non-binary and female community actually enforce these same ideas where it's like, well, why do we need a women-only tournament? We should be able to be in the same standard tournament. And it's so systemic that people feel this, it's in everybody. And it is education, it needs to be opened up to everybody. And I was actually really happy when this year this panel was changed to include non-binary in the title. It did feel much more inviting, it felt more inclusive. And I think it's also nice there are other males in the room as well. And it's nice to have everybody included in the conversation.
And I guess that's part that, I mean, there's only so much obviously you can't force anyone, right? You can't make anyone go do something that they're not comfortable with, but by creating spaces where, hey, like, you guys are important to us too. Like, if you care, we care about you, and we want to help everyone understand why this is an important issue. And, like, this is potentially one of the steps to, like, helping that apathy, right? Like, education is one of the best ways to do that. But, I guess we're kind of running out of time to, like, have more of a discussion on this, but
that's a good thing, though.
You're a peace partner. You're a safe environment. If you're not going to be, get out. Real quick. Because I saw a decade ago our community fall apart because of people being anti-gay, people being anti-LGBT, people having really horrific mindsets, and I don't want to repeat it.
Yeah.
I want to see us get back on the grid, and we're having a slow change in regard. It's going very slowly, but it's one of those. I want to know what the best steps are to make sure that we put that line in the sand.
Yep. And you come in here and showing that this is an important thing to you, an important thing to the community that you're in, and like building it from the ground up. Like, we have a voice now. We have. Are you? How do you identify? EM. Okay. Now we have a male ally, in a space and able to talk about some of these things and why they're important. So, like, even if we only start with like a couple of people like being educated here and there, like slowly that grows when the intent is positive and it's seen to make a positive impact that's not hurting people and it's actually like bringing more people in. And although that's slow, like as long as we try in all those areas, like it does start to help, and it is positive. There are a lot of other strategies to this that I'm not addressing, but allowing allies in to these discussions is one of the biggest ways you can start the education the process for increasing male allies. So we really need to get a picture in because we're like out of time, but we also have to raffle. So I'm just gonna drop two for the super fast raffle, and we're gonna go take a picture outside. If that's okay, you guys can head out. I just grabbed two. We have 870 and 895. Yay! 870, 895. Yay! 4 more really fast for the rest of the Kit Kats.
Wonderful.
Okay, we got 8, 6, 7.
Oh, last 3?
Yes.
Yes.
875.
Come claim your weeaboo pride.
Got 875.
That must have been Tara. I can take it to her.
Take it to her if you want.
Well, if they're not
Sure, if you want.
I'm here to see Tara anyway.
876. Hey! Jen! 881. Thank you everyone so much for coming and for your time and for sharing. And let's go do a group photo too really fast. Like, don't go anywhere. We want to do this.
I'm gonna grab someone from outside because I want everyone.
Yay! Thanks so much, you guys.
You can all gather in the back.
Okay.